And welcome to this year's first episode of My Idaho Friends. As always, I am your host, Jaime Lima, and thank you for joining us today, Idaho. We most certainly appreciate you and love you a long time. We're taking a break, and today, as we head towards the end of January, we're ready to kick it all off. As always, big shout out and thanks to our friends here at Argos Productions. Sweet baby James out in the back. Erica over here making sure that everything's coming to the tippy top, as my youngest will say. And not here present, but in spirit, our boy Justin, who just got married. Shout out to you, Justin. I'm sure you're watching. And also shout out and thanks to our sponsors, Vital Elements, Premium CBD Products, local company here in Idaho. Once this episode is on the YouTubes, there will be a link for it. If you check them out through our link and purchase any CBD products from that, it helps us over here to continue to bring you more local content. Without further ado, today we have an awesome episode, and I know I always say that, but it feels like we're coming full circle. First episode of 2021 with the original gangster, the original guest from our very first pilot episode for My Idaho Friends, Will Hay from the Spacebar Arcade. Will, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jaime, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you having me back, man. Thanks for letting me be the first guest on the first episode of this year.
Yeah, 2021.
Thanks,
and Erica out in the back, I think you told us we're off by the day. One
January
day,
28th.
one day, January 28th, back in 2019.
Wow, fitting.
Was it 2 years?
2 years ago.
Wait.
Yeah,
we filmed in 2000. We filmed November 2018.
18.
And aired it 2019.
We aired 2019, just a day off from 2-year anniversary.
Wow, man, that's fitting. Thank you.
Yeah. And it was a great way to kick off My Idaho Friends. It was, I believe, a 13 and a half minute pilot episode for the web series.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little bit more production value, but still awesome content, still the same awesome people working behind the scenes.
Definitely.
And then there was me.
Oh, come on. You're a great host, Jaime.
Oh, thank you. And it was cool because it's still to this day, granted, it was the first one, but it was our most watched episode.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we have, because when you're thinking about, like Idaho and, and with a name of My Idaho Friends, very niche demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought, it's like, oh, it'd be cool if one day we break out like 300 views on the old YouTube channel, and it's well over 1,500, I believe.
All right.
So it was great content. Argos Production really highlighted themselves on the kind of value that they can bring, And so if you're watching and you need anybody to help you out, highlighting your business, highlighting anything that you're working on, they are fantastic. And that's just like the premier sample of what Argos Productions can do for you, and the spirit of what My Idaho Friends is even right now.
Yeah.
But we have you here at the studio now.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's been a couple of years. You're still your awesome sauce self, and we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it.
All right, man, let's get it.
Last time we talked to you, and again, it's been a couple of years. That was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Business was a booming.
It was, yeah.
So a great space with a great vibe. We talked a lot about the nerdom and the signature vibe that you will get from visiting the Spacebar. Tell us a little bit about that vibe for those who are watching that are not familiar with that very first episode, or what the Spacebar is, and then we'll take it away from there.
Okay. 2 words: electric sex. That's what we try and put out at the Spacebar. So my partner Zach Rowland, he really loves when all the and I love it too, but when the marquees are lit and all the little lights in the coin mechs that accept your coin are lit up, and our neon is on, and that is electric sex. That's what we call it. In fact, we have a little Easter egg. If you've been in the bar or if you've seen pictures, we have a neon in there with lips smoking a cigarette, and there's kanji, Japanese kanji, and that kanji says electric sex.
Yeah, if you put the Google Translator, the app on your phone, it'll tell you right then and there.
Yeah.
Great, great merch,
Yeah.
great T-shirt,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's just awesome. And when what Will's talking about when he's talking about the coins and whatnot, Spacebar Arcade bar in downtown Boise. It's all about the pinball games. From back in the day, and there's some new stuff too, but
Definitely.
there's also some machines that go back into the 90s, 80s, and sometimes even 70s. Classic arcade games, you're talking Donkey Kong, you're talking Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and then some of the other newer stuff too. And whenever you guys get a chance, you go ahead and rotate and resupply, what you're offering as far as the gaming experience, which is only half, in my humble opinion, of what you offer, because it's also just a great bar, regardless whether you're going to come in to play some games or not.
Well, I really appreciate that. I mean, I did want to say too, real quick with the arcades, we also have tried to bring in some indie arcades. And one that we've actually built with some computer science graduates from Boise State University called Devout Tournament. So I want to give a shout out to Aaron and Dean for helping us build that. Burdock Games is the name of their gaming company. And so we've got a indie game that has been built in Boise, and it's on our floor, and we hope to do more of those games in the future with Boise State students and highlight their work in our bar. And then we also have a game called Switch and Shoot, which is by a arcade maker in Des Moines, Iowa called DMS Arcade. And that's a really fun game too. It's kind of like Flappy Bird, and you're shooting kind of like Galaga ships that are oncoming. So the indie game thing is also something we're trying to pivot into. But it's, I'm sorry, but the bar, yes, we do try and curate a vibe that is safe and fun and enjoyable for people just to come and hang and not even worry about the pinball machines or video games.
Outstanding. I want to touch more on the indie game scene, but at the same
Sure.
time, you mentioned a safe environment. Everybody's welcome. All right, it's a trusted place. It's a safe place. It's just the kind of place where you're known. Not to take a jab at other downtown businesses, but it's not a meat market. It's the kind of place where he, she, they, and everybody on all spectrum is welcome. They're going to feel, that they're going to be able to have a good time without being judged, without being played, and just eventually just partake in the Boise downtown scene and culture.
Yeah.
So kudos to you and your team for making and creating that vibe, because it's not easy. It's no surprise to anybody watching and to you, that we have gone through some challenging times, and not everybody's seeing eye to eye on a number of things. But it's always good to know that, when you're going to go into the space bar, as long as you're not spewing any hate and discontent, and that you're wearing your mask, you're going to be welcome. So, Speaking of mask, I know I said in the previous episodes, Will and I keeping a distance. The whole crew, Argos Productions, they're wearing their stuff. So we're always looking out for everybody and each other over here. Indie games.
Yeah.
So you were touching on that, and you are hoping to have more collaborations, more of the crew from Boise State University developing more games. I know that the game that you just mentioned from the individual or company in Iowa. What was it again?
Switch and Shoot.
Switch and Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're over here in the local scene. I know. Tongue in cheek, Harambe Kong.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
which is a good time.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
everybody,
yeah. We had that on the floor.
For the crew in the military, dicks out for Harambe. For those of you that are still familiar with the inside joke, I don't know why that ever went away, but I was still. My friends just shake their heads at me, and then at the same time, also Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, we did Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit. I think that was for one of you guys' anniversary parties or something along those lines.
Yeah, so previous owners, Trent McNair, he built that game in his home, and that was all his programming, all his graphics, and then he got with Trademark design company, and they did all the graphics on the outside of the cabinet, and we had that now resides at his home, and that was a great game. That was a lot of fun for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're switching lanes, you're collecting the beers.
Yeah, getting the coolers, man.
Not a bad thing.
Absolutely. It's kind of Spy Hunter-esque. That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. And anybody that loves that old school gaming experience, were able. I mean, I certainly put a lot of quarters into it, which brings me to my next point.
Sure.
Not a whole lot of places where you can go make quarters work, because nowadays you either have to get a chip card, or use your credit card, and there's just something about actually having to use the change that just brings you back.
Yeah, man, yeah.
As my youngest will say, the tippy top, that tippy top experience that you cannot get in a whole lot of places.
Well, there is something to be said, and I talk about this with Zach, my partner, a lot, and it is that nostalgia that you get dropping the coin in and hearing it plunk. It's akin to rolling a joint and passing it with your friends, or cracking a beer with your friends. It is that feeling of togetherness and nostalgia of doing something you did in your youth. So we like the coin. We don't ever want to take the coin away. We allow people with our coin mix to do drop quarters in, but we also have branded our own tokens as well this past year. So you get tokens at the bar that are our branding, but you can still put a quarter in if you have one.
And if that's your jam, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Right on. So other things too about the place, and So I know I'm geeking out. I'm very familiar, because it always feels like home in there. All the Easter eggs that you're always putting down. There was a time, and oh my gosh, what was it? Was it the Contra scene, the Contra electric poster, where you actually put in the old school Nintendo code, and it would just bring out like the music and the lights, and we'll activate that. Same thing along the lines of like you standing out in line outside of the restroom, and you were just pushing the button that you had set up, and next thing you know, if you hit past 99, all the lights comes on, and you can tell that you are having a great time. And again, just to rewind it a little bit, when the Spacebar came to be, all right, you were managing the Spacebar, but at that time it wasn't all you. And I know it's you and Zach now. We'll talk about Zach a little bit. Great guy. Made me a T-shirt, so I'm a big fan of his now.
You made that T-shirt.
I made that. It was thanks to you guys.
Collaboration.
But it's a collaboration. It's definitely a collaboration. But that transition into hustling and making it happen, for the previous owners, and then just moving ahead into just taking that big risk, that big jump, and it was I'm working very, very hard, to make not just money, but other people's vision a reality. But now it's just all about you, and then of course shortly after that, including Zach as well. Has that paid off still? You look back and it was the right decision. Was it the right move? Or now you're thinking like, holy moly, did I buy more than I could chew?
Never, man, never. I feel right now, hulking up, when Hulk would, be on his knees getting beat by Ric Flair, and then he would start to kind of come back alive. That's how I feel right now. It's like, just hit me again. Like, I want to get up. I just, that's kind of how we feel with this pandemic thing. Like, hit me again. I will take it. I will get up, and I will take this thing, down. So that's where we're at. We're definitely taking punishment. We're taking damage, but we we have done the training, and we have built the infrastructure, and we have prepared ourselves for something like this, so we feel like we can handle it and go through it. I think about something that we talked about in the previous episode quite frequently, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because you asked me in the last episode, when I became an owner, had anything changed? Had my role changed? Had these things kind of like, and it hadn't yet, and it hadn't hit me yet, but now it has, and now things have changed. Like my day-to-day is not so present, and I have to allow the bar to be in the hands of others and be okay with that, because we're trying to grow the brand, we're trying to grow the business, and that means that at some point I have to let go of some things to allow other people to manage. And so that's been a definite change for me, and it's been a definite learning experience for me. So yeah, that and I also wanted to say that this guy right here is the reason that I ended up making the move to buy Spacebar, because we had a conversation about it. If you missed it in the first episode, I'm here to tell you, Jaime's the guy. He's the one who told me to follow my heart and buy the bar. So I owe it all to you, Jaime. So thank you.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, somebody's putting in all the work, and it's all you. So, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Looking, what you just said, and hopefully, if you're watching, the original pilot episode is a nice little short one, so hopefully you can dive into it. It's just beautiful. I'm so proud of that episode, and so proud of you, and so proud of the business and how far it has come. Even after dealing with last year during a pandemic, which we're still getting through. You went ahead, you went from like a very like minority ownership into the business, into just having the business, pushing it yourself, and then creating a partnership with Zach. Now tell us a little bit about Zach. I know he's not here. I would like to highlight him a little bit because he brings a great deal of value to the Spacebar, to the brand, and to you, as far as like having a solid partner to count on.
Yeah. Well, I can't say enough about Zach. If you know Zach, he is an amazing guy and will do anything for you, always. He's, I could not be doing this without him and his support and what he brings to the bar. Anything you ask of him, he is on top of, and even if you don't ask him, about the time you go to ask him, it's already done. So he is that kind of guy, and a loyal guy, and he runs the pinball machines. That's all his doing. So he curates the pinball. He maintains the pinball. He does overhauls on the pinball. In fact, it sounds like we may be running to Lewiston on Friday to pick up a new pinball machine that he's going to be working on to suffice his. He needs a project, and so we've got a project that we're going to go pick up in Lewiston, I think, on Friday. But he helps me with the games too. I come from the bar side of things, and I kind of know how to curate a bar feel. And he is more of the gaming side of things. So he's the guy who picks the games and tells us all right, like this would be a dope one to have on the floor. So he is my eyes and ears and my input when it comes to those things. And we together, I feel like we made a good team. We just work well together, and I love the guy. He's great.
And for those for the folks at home who are watching that might know little to nothing about pinball, they don't understand like the great deal of work and maintenance that comes with those machines, right? So and some of them, they're not necessarily engines, but they get a lot of use and abuse. Right? So in order to keep those working condition and the way that they're supposed to, whenever you want them to and whenever you need them to, it takes a great deal of maintenance and reaching back and making sure that everything's working properly. So it might seem like it's something somewhat trivial, but if you have 6 machines or 1 or 2 do not work, then all of a sudden that's cutting into the experience, that is cutting into the income for the business and things along those lines. Not to mention to actually be ahead of the game to make sure that that's not actually happening.
First of all, it's the only game that is trying to actively destroy itself. That's one of the things that Zach likes to tell me. And the second, we've got a thriving pinball community in town, and they like their machines to run tippy top. So, what is your son saying?
The tippy top.
The tippy top.
My youngest, Chichi. That's what he said. Our producer Erica has got something for us. What up?
I would like to ask if we could take a 2-minute break.
All right, so everybody that is watching, we're going to take a 2-minute break real quick, and then right after that, we'll be back with our boy Will Hay from the Spacebar. Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys here in just 2 minutes.
You're 21, right?
What? Oh, yeah. Just graduated.
Wait, what? Just graduated?
What?
You just said you just graduated.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Yeah, hey, I'm just at JD's getting beer. I know, I can't believe I'm finally 21. I'll call you back.
Let me see your ID. You're 32. Chip.
Receipt?
Nah. The beard's fake.
Just go.
And we're back again with our guest, Will Hay from the Spacebar Arcade in downtown Boise. So we were talking about how Zach helps you curate the gaming side of things over at the Spacebar. Pinball coming at you is the one piece of gear, is the one item, is the one gaming machine that is just out there asking you to beat it up. Because that's how it's supposed to be like. You know, and as you were mentioning before, you know, that there's a growing scene here in Boise. In some other larger cities and whatnot, of course, there's a much larger pinball scene, but there's actual pinball tournaments taking place here in the local level, and some of that competition takes place over at your joint.
Yeah, from time to time we do the pinball competitions. It's been a little while now with COVID. It's been over a year since we've even done anything like that. We had the Battle of the Breweries. That was the last competition we had, which was last January, right around this time. We have all the local breweries come in and compete for the supremacy of who the best brewery is in gaming, anyway. And then we, give them that title for the year. So, yeah, it's been rough not being able to do those competitions.
Yeah,
but,
just like everybody. Who won that one, by the way?
It was the Bench Brew. Oh my gosh, they were trying to get open. I want to say it's the.
I know who you're talking about.
Who I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Derek and
yeah. So he was over at
Bench House, is that right, or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, and because COVID happened,
yes,
they
right,
didn't get to open their brewery.
Yes,
which hopefully, knock on wood, 2021 is a year that it's all gonna happen.
Hoping so.
Outstanding. Yes, I think you guys even have a ladies only team that will come in and train, or there was like a ladies night pinball thing for a while.
Bells and Chimes was a group of women who came down and learned pinball and played pinball, and there's a lot of shots that you want to hit in pinball. So there's a game within a game within a game of the thing, and so we would take our manager at the time, Jenny, would come down and take the glass off and kind of show the other women where the shots they would want to hit were, and what would take you to another level in the game, or unlock a mode. That was fun. We had quite a few women that would come down for that, and it was a good time. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Now, still talking about you and your partnership with Zach. So, fast forward 2021, or in January, you guys are now, not that it matters, percentages and whatnot, but you guys are now partners in the business, co-owners, moving things, to the next level. You guys also work outside of what everybody knows, the Space Bar, to be. There's different projects and whatnot. You got a print shop going on. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Okay. So I have a bit of a background in printing. In my previous years, I have done some screen printing at Idaho Sporting Goods, which is here in town. I don't think that they're around any longer, but I did about 5 years of screen printing with them, and so I was trying to get a clothing line going before Spacebar, and starting a family, having a child, as you know, starts to anchor you and starts to make things real quick. And so I needed to start relying on a steady income. My t-shirt company was not providing that. Spacebar did. So Spacebar was what I put all my eggs in its basket, and it's taken us here. And now Spacebar is the brand that I'm promoting rather than the one that I was doing previously. So I want to do merch for Spacebar, and I want to make cool t-shirt designs with it and promote it as kind of a lifestyle brand as well. And so we did a couple of runs with t-shirts, but it gets very expensive doing that with a third party. And since I had a background in it, and Zach is always, he's a Renaissance man. He's always sharpening the saw. He always wants to find something new to do and put into his repertoire.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, he is. And so he said, what about a screen print shop? We can start printing Spacebar gear. We can do this other project we've been talking about, and I said, sure, let's do it, man. I got a garage that will take the space, so we invested some of our money into a print shop, and now that resides in our garage, and we're printing stuff for Spacebar there. And then we've got another project called Wayback Crew that we are printing, and it's essentially there's a lot of these brands out that are doing Idaho as a with a beard on it. Idaho as a gun. Idaho as a mountain with a mountain biker going.
The shape of the state and all these things are, which are pretty cool.
Yeah, they are cool. They are cool. We just felt as though it geared itself more towards a tourist audience and maybe a transplant audience, and we wanted to do something more geared towards people who grew up here. And so Wayback Crew is basically repops of businesses that used to reside in Boise and who do not any longer, and hopefully that will kind of touch on some nostalgia of that people have for old Boise.
Old school graphic design, which can be, at times, depending on how it is presented, fairly iconic. Yeah. And that is right. So you guys are putting that together, and is that something that is currently active or is looking to be launched here in the near future? Yeah,
launched in the near future. We're still working the kinks out, man. Like, especially in the wintertime in a garage that isn't heated. I understand. We've got challenges that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We're
like
hoping,
any startup.
Yeah, absolutely. We are getting some gear printed, some Spacebar stuff for sure is being printed, and that will hopefully grease the wheels to get us launched into the next phase with Wayback Crew. And we're hoping to find a permanent location for the print shop as well that's not my garage. And so we're hoping that this gear that we're going to be putting out there is going to help us get there.
My dude, and speaking of merchandise being printed, and in the spirit of everything that highlights, Boise, Idaho, and Idaho as a state, and collaboration between like the business community during the time in which COVID-19 first hit, and you had your merchandise out and the bars were all closed, yours included, places like JD's Bodega. Shout out to those guys, and big cheers to them.
Shout out JD.
And hopefully, and this is not to come across braggadocious, but it was just really nice, to kind of like support whichever way we could. And then if you all of a sudden, Spacebar is closed, but the merch, the t-shirts, the electric sex, the spaceman, the SAT cassette tape, and if anybody that watches, My Idaho Friends, you'll see me wearing those t-shirts here and there. It was a big vibe. And then all of a sudden, if you wanted to support local businesses such as your business, you just went to somewhere like JD's Bodega that was doing their very best while they were open to support everybody else. So I just want to make sure that we took a chance to highlight that, because that's just that's how business gets done over
Dude,
here.
we-
Okay, I have said it so many times for anybody that has watched, My Idaho Friends before, but if you're just watching for the first time, one of the reasons why I love, bringing stories about centers of influence and local businesses is like over here things are just a little bit different. Not everything requires a contract. Not everything and everybody requires a business attorney to just write up something. Sometimes it's just a fist bump and a handshake and a big heart to make sure that we're propping each other up. So. One of these days we need to get him over here. But big shout out to JD's Bodega. And they've been great neighbors for you.
Great
and,
neighbors.
and vice versa. And I just wanted to make time to highlight that.
Yeah, man, Josh and that crew, they're awesome. They're great neighbors, as you said. The business community in downtown has been awesome. And when something like a COVID-19 hits, it can show a lot of warts, man. Like when everything's going good, it's a lot of that stuff just kind of goes, your blinders are on, you're just focused on, the bottom line and the money's coming and it's,
Right.
it's just flowing real, easy and everybody's just kind of focused on their own stuff. And then when something like this hits and everybody's got to like take a step back, it shows people's true colors and it can show the warts, it can show like the ugliness. But I feel that everybody's really come together. Fair Idaho has really helped get the restaurant and bar industry together on the same page. And then we've had friends like JD's Bodega help us out with, selling gear, like you said. And there's been other community partners downtown that really have been looking out for one another and spending money with each other and just, taking care of one another. So we're very, very fortunate to live in Boise and have that strength of community. So
Outstanding.
yeah.
Now, as if the print shop was not enough, you guys also, you and Zach are diving into other things outside of, the service industry, outside the bar, outside of the print shop. And I hope you don't mind me bringing it up, but you guys got some projects that have a lot more to do with, body work, vehicles and whatnot. I don't want to give up too much, but can you touch on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, for sure. So we, I come from a background with my family. My dad is into classic cars, and I have an heirloom car from his father that was passed to him and then to me, a 1967 Chevelle Super Sport that I neglected for quite a while, and then my grandma passed, and she left me some money, and I wanted to invest that money into making that car go again. So I did that, and that kind of sparked my love for classic cars again. And Zach was along with me for that journey and kind of helped me navigate it, because he has also dabbled in classic cars previously. He's been to Mustangs and Camaros and Volkswagen buses. And so, he's kind of a gearhead, and we got together with some friends who helped with the Chevelle, and we figured we needed a shop truck, and a 1972 El Camino came across our laps, and so we basically spent every Friday night for a year rebuilding a 1972 El Camino into our shop truck, and that now hauls our games and our merch. Sometimes we drop merch off at folks' house, especially during COVID, with the car, and it's just an advertising piece as well. But we felt like, man, it shouldn't stop here. We got to do more of these projects because it's fun. And so right before COVID hit, we bought a 1972 Volkswagen Squareback. And as soon as things kind of start generating again, we're hoping to start working on that car and then start turning that into an ongoing thing where we buy cars and we kind of go through them and resell them. So
yeah, and you guys market that brilliantly, especially with the El Camino. I recall that you guys did a whole thing which said, hey, come to the bar, and I think it was something on the lines like, name name the vehicle
Uh-huh.
based on these categories. It had to be like gaming involved, and it had to be like a female name, and I think it had to be like. Oh gosh, I'm really pulling at the
You're
old
doing
memory
good, man.
here,
You're doing
you
good.
know,
You're doing
and,
good. One of them was we were thinking we needed one in Spanish because
Right.
it was
Right.
El Camino. So.
Yeah, and it was still daggone close. And of course, you know, I'm going like this because I was like, well, the only thing I can think of is like the main character for Metroid. But
That
I
was
never
you?
put it down.
Oh.
No, it was not me.
Okay.
It was not me. I didn't do it. Somebody else did, but it
Okay.
was just like, Samus, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, because like Zelda, you know, doesn't sound very, you know, Spanish, but as a Spanish-speaking person, like Samus is just like, you know, and you know, I'm a 1980s kid. I was
Yeah,
born in
yeah,
1980,
yeah.
so it was like, you know, Metroid and Super Metroid was a thing for me.
For sure.
So it was just like when you are thinking about like lead female characters on video games, especially like, gosh, early 90s or even beyond that. It was just like 1, 2, or 3. And, you know, when you think about Zelda, you know, everybody thinks Link is Zelda.
Sure, sure.
Link is the main character.
Yeah.
It's not Zelda, so it was Samus.
Yeah.
So I was so glad that somebody went ahead and pitched that in there. I didn't, it was clever, but not that clever, but I guess at the same
should
time,
have
there
done
wasn't
it,
that many. But it just worked out well. And that vehicle is beautiful. You know, the matte black with the racing stripe. Anywhere you go, anybody recognizes it, and you can just see it. It's the Spacebar colors, even if you don't see anything Spacebar related on the vehicle.
Well,
it is what it is. So
I got to say shout out to my boy Jesse Griffin from JMG Customs because he is he's the guy. He has been in the fabrication side of things for his entire life. His family is as well, and his sister actually upholstered the seat, which we did in a Mexican blanket because we wanted to pay homage to the Mexican heritage of the car. And yeah, he did the paint, he did the fabrication, all the body work, helped us, you know, in the engine bay as well. So shout out to Jesse. He's a dope dude. If you want a car done and done right, go see him. So,
imagine that collaboration.
yeah.
Boom. Oh man, that leads into so many other things, but
Okay.
I'm going to try not to go into
Sure,
too
sure.
many different rabbit holes. Let's talk about the present and then let's start pushing a little bit into the future. So what is the state of the Spacebar right now as we said? It's January 2021. Excuse me. All right. We are navigating our pandemic. You know, now there's a vaccine out. Word has it middle to the end of the fall. Things are going to go back to whatever the new normal is going to be. What are you doing right now that might be different, you know, than it was before, you know, as far as running the business, and what is it that we get to look forward to into the future with the Spacebar?
Well, right now, limited capacity, clearly limited hours, a strict regimen as far as cleaning goes, and of course, social distancing and mask mandate. And then, yeah, it's kind of slow right now in downtown Boise. A lot of the Boise downtown offices have vacated and are working from home, and so those people that would normally stay around and maybe grab a drink after work are not there. You know, I'm sure, like you or many people watching, have gone to you know, home improvement stores or to the grocery stores, and they've seen, you know, plenty of cars out there on the roads, and, you know, downtown is just a ghost town still. And so, you know, we're all struggling. There's been plenty of closures that we've seen, and so we're hanging on, man. We're relying on some government help, and then we're also applying for grants and some fundraising that's being done online for bars and restaurants as well. And like I said, we're just trying to go day by day and make it through. And when we get onto the other side of this thing, which we're hoping, like you say, in the fall, will happen, we're hoping to try and expand the bar. I think we're trying to, you know, we're looking to make some moves. I think because we are in deep. We are in some debt now because of the pandemic, and so
Yep.
we want to be able to pay those debts back and pay those debts back as quickly as possible. So
Right.
that calls on us to make some adjustments, and we're kind of working through some of those now, and hopefully have some more news for you. Sometime soon, and
Yeah.
let you know kind of where we're at with that. But yeah, we're hoping to expand the bar.
What moves you? What pushes you to keep going compared to some of the other businesses? And this is not a jab at them, but who have had to fold. What is it? What is it that keeps Will Hay and Zach and the Spacebar going? Like, you know what, this juice is worth the squeeze. We're gonna go ahead and take a loan or dive even deeper into this project, into this dream. Because unfortunately, a lot of fellow business owners throughout the downtown Boise have had to cut the cord. You're still taking, and you're planning to continue. There's the aspect of growth. There's the aspect of like the print shop. There's the aspect of the vehicle project. What is it that keeps that needle churning for you on this Spacebar? As to compare, perhaps and again, I really want to make sure it comes very, very crystal clear that this is not a jab at them, but a lot of people have had to say like, okay, like this is as far as I'm willing to push. Yet you continue to push farther. What keeps moving that needle for you guys?
Well, I'll tell you one big factor, and that's time. Time has been on our side on this thing because we are now 9 years in, and so somebody just getting started or somebody a couple years in, I mean, if that were the case for us and we weren't established, I mean, it would have been game over for sure, man. We were just down in Reno to pick up a game a couple of weeks ago, and their barcade down in Reno unfortunately had to close. They had just been open a couple of years, So time has been on our side for sure, and being established has helped quite a bit. I would say that's number one. And number two, for what keeps us going is I feel like it's the creative outlet that we get from the bar. I mean, like you have been mentioning, all the things that we get to do at the bar. If that goes away, then our creative outlet goes away. So we will double, triple. I mean, we're all in. We're burning the boats, man. This is it. Like, we want to continue on with this thing because it gives us such an outlet to express ourselves and hopefully add something to the community and get everybody to feel the playfulness that we all feel that we get to enjoy every day going to work at an arcade. I mean, it's just fun, man. So we're trying to bring that fun to this community and let them feel the fun too, and not take things so seriously, and hopefully they can find the creative outlet in their own lives through what we do, and take a leap of faith in their own lives. So that's why we do it, man, for everybody.
Great answer. All right, so we start bringing it to a close. I'm gonna go ahead and perhaps you were not expecting this. So one of my favorite questions from the original pilot episode with you, is when I asked you this very specific question, the Spacebar goes up on flames, there's a fire, and you get a chance to rescue one thing out of the bar and make your way out. And if you're watching, it's so worth it just to watch that very first pilot episode, and when I asked this question to Will, and we edited a little bit of the emotion on that one, and to this day, well, I still is by far is just such a great episode. I still just feel like, we shouldn't have done that. It's been a couple of years. It's a little different. And feel free to maintain the same answer to the question if it has changed. That's quite all right. But what would you salvage if that was the case?
Well, can I still say jukebox, but not that jukebox?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love the music that we get to curate and play for our guests. So it's still, that's what hits me, man. That's what I bring. I love music, and I love to expose people to the music that I feel inspires me. And so I still think the jukebox. But here's the deal: that jukebox is on its last dying legs, and now most of the time I think the staff has kind of taken over DJing duties from behind the bar. But we are currently working with the Burdock Game guys, well, at least half of the Burdock Game guys, Aaron, and he is building us a boutique jukebox. So think touch screens or touch tones, I should say.
Okay.
But it's a touch screen jukebox that he is building one-off for us, and it's in a touch tones jukebox you can go on your phone and load up any music you want, and that I feel like kind of kills a vibe of a cool bar, because you don't necessarily want to hear what some guy is playing or on the jukebox. It necessarily would kind of kill the vibe, and so we are still curating this jukebox. We're still able to put our music into it, and you'll be able to shuffle through it with a touchscreen jukebox. But it'll have games that you can play and win credits on, and there's going to be a bunch of Easter eggs with it. So it's going to be like a new kind of showpiece and crown in the jewel of Spacebar. So that's I'm looking forward to that next project and having that be the thing that I salvage. The music still is the thing I would take.
Outstanding.
So.
Outstanding answer. I'm so glad. Okay. So as we roll over towards the end of our episode, this is what I like to call the shameless self-promotion section, portion of our little web series. So please do tell everybody at home how they can learn more about the Spacebar. They can learn more about the upcoming project with the print shop, with again the car shop, all the vehicle projects and whatnot. Website, social media. Okay. Please just let it all out there right now. There's the camera for you. Let's do the thing.
Well, folks, you can find us at spacebararcade.com on the web, and then Instagram handle is at Spacebar Arcade. The Facebook is Spacebar Arcade, and the print shop is Back Alley Print Shop, at Back Alley Print Shop. On Instagram, that's kind of all where we're at right now. And then the cars haven't really gotten around to getting any presence on social media yet, but those are where you can find us, spacebararcade.com.
Yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Will, thank you so much for your time. I most certainly appreciate you coming back again and kicking off the series for 2021. Last year, I thought, be lucky to get 12 episodes in. We were able to squeeze in 32.
Wow.
So we're super excited. And we are even beyond grateful to have you here as our first episode for 2021. We are not only expecting, but also wishing, for you the best of luck and all the best vibes, your way. And we cannot wait to see what you, Zach, and all of your work family got going on, and it's going to be bringing up to the table, not just for Boise, but for everybody else that comes visit. If you're watching, again, thank you so much for taking your time to come and hang out with us. As always, huge gratitude and big thanks to Argos Productions, which allowed us to use your studio, or their studio over here. Justin, who just got married, congratulations. He just got back from Turkey. And then Erica over here, and then sweet baby James out in the back, making sure that it's all working well. Do not forget, when you get a chance, visit our sponsors, Vital Elements. Once this episode is up on our YouTube channel, you'll scroll down and you'll see the link right over there. Feel free to check them out. Support us. If you buy something from them, guess what? You're supporting us, and we're able to continue to bring you original local content. Again, I cannot say enough thanks to all of you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We appreciate Will. We appreciate Zach, Spacebar, and all of our business here downtown and all over, not just Boise, but the great state of Idaho. It's good to be back. I'm glad we took a break because holy moly, did we have a start to the year. But, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to bring the good feels and the good vibes because heaven knows we need them. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and Idaho, when you get out there, make sure you are out there and you get to be kind to somebody. Cheers, and thank you so much for tuning in.
You're 21, right?
What? Oh, yeah. Just graduated.
Wait, what? Just graduated.
What?
You just said you just graduated.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Yeah, Ham just said JD's getting beer. I know, I can't believe I'm finally 21. I'll call you back.
Let me see your ID. You're 32. Chip.
Receipt?
Nah. The beard's fake.
Just go.